All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, January the 31st, last day of January 2023. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Scotch Tape Samurai.
It's not sticking in my head.
It's not sticking in your head? So why are you playing with the Scotch tape today, Mr.
It's a Scotch Tape Day.
Happy Scotch Tape Day, everybody. Happy Scotch Tape Day.
What other ways can we play with Scotch tape?
I don't know. Let me ask you a question. When is it that day without the word tape?
When it's a Scotch Day?
Scotch Day, yeah.
There is a Scotch Day.
There is a Scotch Day.
Put it over my camera.
Yeah, put it over your camera. That'll be perfect for the show.
That works beautiful.
There you go.
I like that.
You've never looked so good.
I have a filter.
There you go.
Apparently, most people say I have no filter.
You do not have a filter. No,
but Scotch tape is it's like 93 years old.
Scotch tape is pretty old. I wouldn't mind having a 93-year-old Scotch.
Maybe that's why it's not sticking in my face too well.
No. That roll of Scotch tape is 93 years old.
That'd be funny. I don't think so. It's too ergonomically correct. They care about ergonomics back there, and I'm pretty certain the thing that tore it off was probably like piranha teeth.
Probably. I don't even think ergonomic was a word 93 years ago. So
no, and safety was not an issue.
No, not at all.
Safety's job one. Safety.
What is the safety you speak of?
Yeah, we only 5 employees died today. That's good. We're on a roll.
Yeah. In 1930, safety was not as keenly looked at as it is these days. But anyway, what other?
I don't think OSHA existed.
I don't think OSHA existed. We'll have to check that out. Jimmy, get on that.
Jimmy. You got a boy?
We got a thing. We got a guy. Matt's on assignment. We fired Brian, so we had to get somebody else in.
That's right.
Right. So, what other day is it today?
It's National Hot Chocolate Day.
Happy National Hot Chocolate Day.
Now I'm eating. I don't want to make hot chocolate. I'm eating these things.
You're eating them hot chocolate mix?
No, it's like these cookies.
Hot chocolate cookies.
It tastes a little like hot chocolate.
Very nice. So a lot of candy being talked about on the show. Foreshadowing. We'll talk about that later.
We talk about no candy yet.
Well, cookies, chocolate, Scotch tape, depending on if you like it or not. Depends.
depending on what class you were in high school.
Exactly. So anyway, I'm thirsty. Are you?
I am. OSHA was founded on April 28th, 1971.
There you go. 41 years after Scotch tape was founded.
Mm-hmm.
So now, is that a pastry glass of water?
This is a sour barrel-aged pastry water.
There you go. Gotta love it. All right. Again, I'm thirsty, and I don't have water with me right now. So why don't we bring our guest on? Because we're not drinking beer without him today for a certain reason. We'll talk about that.
There's a reason for that, and this will be technically the third time he's been on the show. Yes. He was on a multiple guest show and one other time by himself. Here he is for the second time by himself. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Chuck Aaron from Jersey Girl Brewing. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, guys.
We got to get that applause card going.
Yeah, John keeps saying he's going to get the soundboard in, but until then, I've got to do that.
You got to do the
sound
effects. Exactly.
Hey, guys, I have to apologize in advance. I was told it was electric tape day, so I brought the wrong tape today.
You got the wrong tape.
All right.
But can you do the nose thing with it? Well, actually, you know what?
Yeah, probably.
It's a shame you don't have masking tape because you can do the whole nerd.
Actually, no. You know what? Yeah. Well, he could do that with electrical tape too. He could put it around the brim of his glasses.
Oh, I could nerd out for a minute.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
guys, how you doing, man? Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. How are you?
Happy 119th episode.
Happy 119th episode. Thank you very much.
Yeah, when we hit our 100th episode, I think Chuck kept wishing us happy whatever for like at least 5 or 6 episodes.
At least 5 or 6 episodes because I missed the 100th episode.
You missed the 100th episode.
Missed it. But on the last time he was on the show, he made his acting debut.
He did.
I was merely acting.
Yes.
I'm a thespian.
Chuck never has a second New England IPA at home.
And I want to kill James because James forgot to turn the camera. I had to go.
Yeah, you just grab it and
push. He still had it on Chuck.
Right. Anyway, so that was a fun night. That was a blast.
Yeah.
So anyway, how are you? How's everything in Hackettstown tonight?
It's beautiful. We're actually in Mount Olive, but
you're in Mount Olive. I know.
Trifecta of fantastic beers.
Olive, Bud Lake, Long Valley, Hackettstown, Four Corner kind of.
It's nice to share. It's nice to share a name with Manskirt and Zigmeister. We're all in the triangle of beer over here.
Yeah. Right.
It's
a great triangle too, and not too far away. You got Chilton Mill down the road.
Chilton Mill's right down the road. I was just actually the other day I was out driving around and I realized it's been forever since I've gone over to see Mike or had his beer and been to Chilton Mill. So I stopped by. God, I think it was Saturday or Sunday.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Saturday probably. Sat down with Mike for a while.
Nice.
It's been a while since.
How's he doing over there? I haven't been up there in a while either. How's he doing?
Great. Oh my God,
awesome.
He's great. I had a couple of his beers and he just does it right. It's just you go over there and have great beer.
He was doing it right out of the box.
Yeah.
Most breweries.
It's hard.
He was making the Mr. Beer right out of the box.
Yeah, right out of the box.
Had to go there. Sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
He's not. He's making good beer. I'm just kidding. But
he is.
Anyway. Yeah. I got to get back up there too. I think.
Yeah.
You do. That's awesome.
Right. On occasion.
He's working on it.
Occasion.
So that burning.
Trying an extra hour every day, and trying to build it up. But anyway, that probably going to migrate up to that area. Around like the 18th of February or so.
What would be going on the 18th of February?
Well. First off, got to stop in and see Chuck if he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then migrate over to Matt.
Yeah, and the thing is, then just find a place to sleep on the brewery floor.
Well, it's comfortable on the brewery floor. What?
Fortunate. Right, exactly.
Chuck has spent many a night
talking about. Right, exactly. Fortunate to have a place to sleep not too far away, family. So it works.
I've seen you a couple of times here, John.
What's that?
I've seen you come by a couple of times.
Oh yeah, no, of course. And they've been there more recently than I have. So. That's true. But anyway,
so what we're talking is Stout Fest.
Fest.
At Zigmeister, and Stout Fest scares me.
Does it really?
Well,
Don't be afraid of the dark.
Oh, I love the dark. I love the dark. Most of my favorite beers are dark beers. The only problem is I'm afraid of not wanting to stop and then trying to at some point get home because it's a long.
Actually, the first chore rather than before getting home is getting up. Right.
Yeah.
But that's so.
Yeah. You see people get up out of their chairs and just fall.
Is that what you're saying, John?
At our advanced
in
ages,
our age group.
Yes.
Is all that
specifically
creaking.
Speaking of
It's like no, we're not eating Rice Krispies. That snap, crackle, and pop is coming from our joints.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So.
And then February 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, where are we going to be?
Where are we going to be? Motown. That's
Motown,
right.
baby.
Yeah.
We're going back to Morristown. Big Brew.
Yep.
Big Brew with Allison. 10-year anniversary.
Has it been 10 years? Wow.
Yeah.
10-year anniversary.
Big one for her. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 10 years. We started that one when we first opened up. That was one of our first events we did.
I can't believe they survived the first event.
Oh my gosh.
That first one was
it was rough.
Yeah.
Just 2 bathrooms upstairs.
Go down the hall. The one where you go up on the side, it's down the hall to the left.
Yep.
Yeah, not a lot of room in there for everybody.
I just want to double check because I thought you might have been right, but I seem to remember the date. Saturday, March 4th, actually.
Is it March 4th?
Saturday, March 4th.
February 19th.
Saturday, March 4th.
That would be my oldest son's birthday.
Saturday,
I should probably think about getting him something.
You should probably do that. Yeah, Saturday, March 4th, and 2 days later is another holiday in the Coastal Brewworks clan. That would be Matt Patensky's birthday.
Patensky's birthday, yes.
Oh, there we go. See,
a lot going on there.
Coming up. All these
exactly. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say a week before that is Jess's birthday, and the day after Jess's is my daughter's birthday. So a lot of birthdays happening.
Busy month.
Speaking of a lot happening, I'm gonna have a beer, and I think you guys want to too.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you're already drinking. All right, Chuck, what are you drinking right now?
I actually poured myself a glass of our Brew Jersey.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Our version of the recipe that everyone in New Jersey is doing right now.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's nice. We do want to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
Once John figures out a way to get his beer open.
No.
What are you doing?
I think it's this pull tab, right? You got to pull it back, and then you pull it back like that, right? That's what
I think you're looking for a corkscrew. I'm like, did he say
he's got to take a nap? He opens it up. He's got to take a nap, and then he's got to bend it back when he wakes up.
Exactly. Well, you know, I only
take a shot of oxygen.
I only think about 2 hours a day. I just told you that. So,
and he's reached his quota.
Right. Anyway.
We'll slow down for you, Joe.
Let me take the obligatory picture.
Oh my God! He just used about an hour of his thinking time for tomorrow by using the word obligatory.
There we go.
I'm glad you're starting with Black Diamond.
Yes,
yeah, starting with Black Diamond. Dave, what are you starting with? Black Diamond.
Black Diamond. Bingo.
Oh man,
we'll put the scroll up so it can speak for itself.
This is I'm yum enjoying this.
There you go. I appreciate you saying that.
And I put it in this glass. I hope that's okay.
Nope.
No, that's cross branding. You can't do
Pour
that.
It down your throat. Get rid of it. Get rid of that glass. Did I give you you have a Jersey Girl glass somewhere?
I do not. I did. I had several of them prior to November 2016.
Come on, let's not go there. Why? Oh,
we go there.
Everybody's sad.
I just said the date. I just said the date. I see what it was.
We go there a lot.
Day that will live in infamy.
So this beer is named after your love of skiing, is it?
Heck no, man. It's my love of Kiss. I went to we brewed the Schwartz beer, and I guess it's 3 years ago now. We started.
This is delicious, by the way.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, thanks, guys. It's one of my favorite go-tos when we have it on tap. Unfortunately it's off tap now. We only have it a few 4-packs left. But we had brewed that, and then that night I went to a Kiss concert over at the Prudential Center, and I was trying to come up with a name, and Black Diamond was played, and I said, "That's it.
There you go.
It's going to be Black Diamond."
Yeah, that's better than that.
Logo on the outside has nothing to do with Kiss or the song. But
wait a second, you actually honor trademarks and stuff like that?
Who, me? Oh yeah, I protect as well.
Oh, but, okay, because not every brewery in Jersey does.
Oh well, I know.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dave.
God, I should probably go change my shirt. So
we own a few trademarks ourselves, I have to say. We own Short Point's one of ours.
Is it?
Have you sent a cease and desist yet?
I'm not allowed by law. I'm not allowed to talk about the details of that. But that's where the small guy took out Goliath, so to speak.
There you go.
We own Born and Brewed. Born and Brewed is another one we own.
Born and Brewed.
Yeah, we can't own in New Jersey, but we have it at the bottom of our logo here, Born and Brewed, New Jersey. And so we trademarked Born and Brewed. So if that's being used, it's a trademark infringement.
There you go. Very nice.
A couple of Jersey Girl Brewing, all that stuff.
Very, very nice.
I think if you're going to own a brewery, you're going to own a business, you got to protect your valuable assets.
You absolutely do. 100%. 100%. So
it's part of the process, man. It's not to be bad, and you hate to send other breweries notices, but it's a big investment. Breweries aren't cheap. I don't know why anybody thinks that opening a brewery is an easy process.
I've heard that. I've heard both of those things.
Everybody says, "Oh yeah, it's so easy. Everybody wants to do it." We've been at it for 7 years. We learn something new every day. Always a new challenge, whether it's
We're coming up on 2 years, and we're not open yet. So,
are you closer?
We're closer.
You guys got to be close now.
We're closer, but it's not tomorrow by any means. So,
do you guys know Mark Costa, Veritage?
Yeah,
Veritage Brewing. He was my cellarman, left almost 2 years ago, and thought that he would be open in about 6 or 8 months. He's still not open yet. He's still not open. Actually, started construction. I actually met him about a month after he left you when he had started to open it at your tap room. We were sitting and talking. In fact, you introduced me. Duh, right? Of course, yeah. I happened to be there. Yeah, I was there.
You were there, sitting across from me, having a beer. But
he's a great guy. He's going to make some great beer. I'm excited for him to open up and see what he brings to the table, because I think he's going to do some pretty cool stuff. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, look, there's a lot of good beer being brewed in New Jersey right now. I'm so happy about that. Yep. Because a lot of people, they don't understand it. I've talked about this for people not in the industry, if you will, and not close to it either. That this is as big of an industry as this is. It's a small group, and we're all family, and
We all want to see everybody succeed. We all want.
We had a brewery meeting last week, and I got to tell you, there's guys in the room that I haven't seen a year maybe more, and you see them. It's like you pick up where you just left off, and that's what I love. I love that about beer. You can just pick up people that are opening breweries. Were there. There's a couple of new ones opening up around us. They were at the meeting, and God, it was so easy to talk to them. Just the friendliest people. And it feels good to be part of this. I'm happy to be part of it for 7 years now.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going. I'm happy we're around this long, really.
And not to blow smoke, but we're happy you're in it for 7 years now. So seriously.
We've had some good times. I remember a late night IPA box. We did a shared drinking. We had the screen on, and I think it was like 3 beers into it. I realized they were all like 11 to 12, 13% IPA. I was like crawling to bed that night. It was a tough night, but a
gotta
fun
love it. It was fun. Speaking of this beer, talk about this for a second. Now, this is how many years you've been doing this beer? Black Diamond?
3 years now. Yeah, Black Diamond's 4.1%. It's German Schwarz beer.
It goes down so easy.
Oh, thanks. That's what I like about the 4%ers. We had a point when that beer came out. That was the first of our transitions where we had you'd come to the sample room. 3/4 of the menu was like 8 to 13% beers. And it was just, we were really on the heavy side, and Schwarz beer was our first start at bringing beers to that 4 to 6.5% range. So when you come in the sample room, you can have a few, and that particular beer goes down so smooth, so clear. If you hold it up to the light, it's got a beautiful color to it. It's got
it's not black.
No. It's like a ruby. It's like the darkest ruby red. It's really nice. You can see right along, Dave, on the bottom of your glass when you hold it up, you can almost see that halo there of red.
Yeah, especially if you get a little closer.
Yep, you can see it. You can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I could do is this, because I'm looking through it, and if I do this, you'll definitely see the color.
Oh yeah, it's crystal. With a light, it's crystal clear. It's really nice for an unfiltered lager. It's a fun one to drink.
It's funny.
It's really tasty.
When Lager Room guys first started, we didn't really drink a lot of lagers on the show, but we're drinking more and more and more lagers.
Because
a lot of breweries were doing them for the longest time in New Jersey. You couldn't. I mean, there were a couple. I mean, Cricket Hill's always had them, forever and ever. Ramstein. You can go up there, get a great lager, but there weren't a lot of breweries doing them. And I love lagers. It's more, if I have a choice between an IPA and a lager, I go to the lager.
I think
absolutely.
It's a challenge. If I go to a tap room, I'll start with a Pilsner. Indicative of quality. I mean, if you have a great Pilsner, everything else is going to follow.
100%. 100%. If there's a Pilsner offered, that's the first beer I'm having if I'm at a new brewery. That's going to tell me everything I need to know about the brewery right there.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
I don't always go Pilsner first. If I see a Czech lager on, that's where I'm always starting.
You're in,
And you can't really go back to Pilsner from there, but I'll just drink Czech Pilsners the whole night.
These this lagers in general. This is delicious, but lagers in general. That's where we went to Boston about 3 weeks ago, and hit a bunch of breweries since around the state and a couple others out. I've probably been to about 15 breweries this year so far in January, obviously. I think I've had 2 IPAs. Everything else have been lagers.
Closest thing I've had to an IPA
might have been a dark mild somewhere, but everything else has been lagers.
I think the closest I've had to an IPA is Andy's IPL.
There you go. There you go.
No, it's not even an IPL. It's a hoppy Pilsner, isn't it?
It's a hoppy Pilsner, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even
hoppy Pilsner, IPL. It's
close. We do that. We call it Wild Card. It's our Wild Card series. And so we brew a Pilsner very similar to our Mo Pils, but we take a hop and we put it into that Pils, and we want to feature that hop because, again, there's nothing else in that beer that's going to take away from that hop character.
No.
Yeah.
So we did one with Azaka. It was just phenomenal. We did a Sriracha Ace Pilsner.
Oh, nice.
We called it Pocket Aces. And man, that
works.
Amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, we do this thing with the playing cards. With King Gambrinus, we do Queen Gambrinus. We did a Joker. We did Wild Card. We do Pocket Aces. There's a whole lineup of them, but they rotate through.
Did you work in Jack into anything yet, or
No. Should I?
Well, I mean, just brew a pumpkin and throw that in there.
Oh no.
I'm kidding.
Oh no. I'm not knocking the pumpkin style. Kind of funny with COVID.
It's a place for everything. So, but
I swore when I opened the brewery that I'd never do a pumpkin.
Thank you.
And we didn't
appreciate that
until COVID, and then I brewed a beer called Never Say Never, and it was a pumpkin. And, it went over really well. I mean, it's almost like you want to do it again because it sold so well.
If you do a pumpkin right, and I'm trying to go somewhere. If you do a pumpkin right, brew a pumpkin. Yeah, if you do a pumpkin right, put it in the right place at the right time with the right people. Yeah, it's thinking. It's 7:35 Eastern time on Tuesday. So I've shot myself for the week so far. But anyway, yeah.
But it's not really a pumpkin beer. Let's be honest. It's a spice beer.
It's a spice. Right. Exactly. But if you do that style of beer correctly, put it in front of the right people, and don't do a lot of it. That's the problem. See, like Weyerbacher. I hate to talk about it because I do love Weyerbacher beers, but they've been in trouble since the first time that they disbanded everything else they were brewing and just brewed 1 million barrels of Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin, a delicious beer, but way too much that year. And since that day, it's been a hard climb for them. They've had problems.
I like Pumpkin. If I drink a beer, Pumpkin is kind of a really nice.
Pumpkin is good.
Nice version of what that beer should be stylistically.
I still have bottles of what's the stout version of that? I just forgot. Blanked.
Warlock.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Sure.
I still got bottles left of Warlock from this year's run because John forces me to participate in a pumpkin ale show.
We do a pumpkin ale show once a year. Once a year. Which means I have 3 pumpkins a year. That's what it means because I drink 3 on the show, and there we go.
I drink 3 on the show, and everyone gets to hear me bitch about having to drink a pumpkin.
Nice.
Because I will. But also, the other thing was John was saying, don't make a lot of it, but also don't release it in August. Please don't.
It's hard. It's hard not to. Because just
everything else is out.
Wants it early. They want it gone because they know the day after the season's over, it won't sell. It's like an Oktoberfest.
Right.
The Oktoberfest keeps moving up every year. It's now we ship it like August 1st and to hit the shelves the second week of August.
It's crazy. I mean, there have been times. Oh geez. Hold on a second.
We need a little spinny wheel.
There we go.
I still see you guys.
No. It's like for John's thinking. We need this.
Oh no. I went to another. I had to send somebody something really quick. I'm multitasking here.
I got you.
And a video popped up. You couldn't hear it, but it was in the background. It was just disturbing me, so I had to go shut it off.
Gotcha.
But
it really sounded like your brain locked. And then
it kind of did, but you didn't understand why because you couldn't hear it on my end. That was the problem.
There you go.
Right. I'll explain later. It's a whole thing. It's fine. But in any event, I digress.
Loading.
Buffering.
1%, 2%. System reboot.
Exactly. So, but
time left 3 hours and 45 hours.
It's all good. Bottom line is, no, I was just going to say there's a lot of, I mean, the seasonal creep, the whole thing with that, and we'll wrap that up. But I called you a seasonal creep. That's exactly what you are.
I'm a creep all year round, not just seasonally.
Not just seasonally, right? Anyway, they got back to the end of June, beginning of July. I remember, in another incarnation of myself, if you will, having to order pumpkin beers, specific pumpkin beers, like place an order for them.
Oh, bar manager incarnation.
June.
Oh yeah.
Even the end of May, early June, end of May, beginning of June.
Crazy.
I mean. No, I'm not tapping it until September. I don't care when you bring it to me. It's not going on until September 1st. Labor Day weekend is the earliest I'm putting it on.
By the time you put it on, it's already probably 2 months old.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think about the brew schedule and when it was brewed and when it was spiced and all that.
Which, depending on how hot it was, once it was spiced and they kegged it, it might actually benefit the beer at that point for sitting in the cooler for 2 months. But and maybe that's why they were trying to do that. But I always said that I hope someday this whole seasonal creep thing, and not just talking about beer, this whole seasonal creep thing in general will get so early it'll back up onto itself and even out.
I got to tell you, this is the first year outside of beer, but seasonal creep, Christmas, holidays. This year, it seemed like we went from September to December, and it was like gone. It was gone. I don't
Halloween and Thanksgiving never existed. It was
never existed. We blew by it. I mean, it felt like we just blew by the whole, fourth quarter of the year. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of, this is the first year I looked back and said, well, maybe the stores have it right with putting Christmas up and the holiday stuff up in September, October.
Well, at least the Christmas sales hold. Those will hold
for sure.
nicely.
Yeah.
For me, end of summer, beginning of fall, and Oktoberfest is September for me, right? October is fall and Halloween. November is Thanksgiving. December is Christmas.
Yeah.
Speaking of Oktoberfest, there is a lot going on this label.
Which one you got there? The Dunkelweiss. Oh my God, that's such a good beer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like first sip of this.
Is that what you poured now? Is that what you just poured?
Oh, this is what I'm drinking now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
put that up. I'm gonna pour mine now while you talk. There we go. Put that.
This, I mean, the first, like any good Dunkelweizen, you're gonna get.
It does have a lot. The label's got a tremendous amount of things going.
Oh yeah, you got accordions going on. You got some Wurst in there. You even got some Wurst that's got mustard on it. You've got some hops. You've got some barley. You got some musical notes, kegs, steins, pint glasses.
We threw the whole thing, but
there's a German hat on there. It's right. Oktoberfest threw up on this label. There's a can.
Is that bad though?
Says German.
No, not at all. Well, it depends on Dunkelweiss. But like any good Dunkelweiss, this smells like and tastes like a Bananas Foster.
Thank you. So there, I wanted a bit of that banana in there to come through. But I think it comes through beautifully.
Oh, it does, but it doesn't overpower. You get some of these that, the caramel and the banana aren't in balance. Yeah. And the banana is not.
That is tasty.
It is it's a tasty brew.
Thank you.
I'm liking that. And I also love the fact and appreciate the fact that this thing's only coming at 4.7.
Yep. Another one of our middle of the road styles. I mean, we could have gone a little bit bigger on this one, but again,
most American breweries do.
I like the drinkability of it. I think if it went any bigger, I think it wouldn't be the same beer you're enjoying right now. I think it would take away from the palate. It would pull a lot of that banana out of it, and it's got to come through a little bit. You get a little bit of caramel in there because of the malt.
Yeah, no, and I really think if you made it higher in alcohol, you'd take the malts out of it a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
So. I'm all honestly, I have gotten to the point now, and hopefully this shines through, and I hope in a good way. I'm going there, but I'm all about beers that are between 4% and 6%.
Yeah,
high 3s to low 6s. Between milds to whatever. Higher ABV beers, they have their place, and we'll do them. And I'll have them, and whatever else. But
that's our last show of the year. Is always our
big
high
beer?
test.
High test.
Yeah, 12% and above. We do.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
the next day after
I
that
just
show,
crawl out of my office into my bedroom and pass out.
Maybe the end of the year. I think we have a Belgian quad that we do. Mm-hmm. It clocked in at 13% when we did it last. So
nice.
That might be one for you guys.
On that note, really quick, the other day we're over at a neighbor's house watching the two championship games. Sure. Which I actually have a question for you, but we'll talk about that later. Talk about that later. Talk about that later.
Later.
Promise no poop emojis. I promise. None.
No anger.
No anger. Nothing.
No, he got into Zen mode.
Nice. There you go.
Namaste.
He's sorry.
There you go. So, but seriously, no. We opened a bottle of King Gambrinus, the red wine barrel aged.
Oh yeah,
that was so good, Chuck. It was delicious.
I think it's underrated. I think it's such a nice beer. The French oak on that is just absolutely beautiful, and comes through really nice. Compliments a 10%er. You get a bit of that red wine character. It carries really nicely because you guys have had King before. It's a 10% beer, but it doesn't have that 10% burn to it. You get a lot of fruity characters and notes from the monastery yeast that we use on it. And we've actually changed the recipe up. Now we're using there's a Belgian sugar that you use into it. And we've started putting that in along with the monastery yeast, is really building an absolutely beautiful beer. It's gone final round at GABF 2 times. So that means we're close, but we got to dial it in a little bit better.
A little bit, right.
And when you said the red one, was that the Bordeaux barrel?
Yeah. That was the red. That was the French oak Bordeaux that we had in the back. And it was only on for about 6 months.
I really wish I could have had that under different circumstances, because it was maybe about the 87th beer I drank at the Beer Bacon Barbecue because I got roped in being a judge.
Oh, yeah.
But you won that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's right up here on the shelf. I have it right behind me here. You can see it.
You actually got the judges. There it is. There it is. You got the judge's choice on that one.
That was a good one. That was a nice one to win.
Right? Was the judge's choice?
We tried to repeat. I think it was People's Choice. I think we got
People's Choice. People's Choice.
We got People's Choice on that one, which is always, I think, a great one. I'll take a judge's, but I think People's Choice is a nice one as well.
You know what? I mean, there are times where both are good. And to be honest with you, I think if I'm going to have one over the other, I'd rather have People's Choice.
Yeah. Because
the judges aren't buying the beer. The people are buying the beer. So.
Well, I hope
the judges buy beer too.
No, the judges buy beer too. But like judges is this sample size. People is this sample size.
There was some good beers that day. Yeah. I don't remember the next 3 days, but
I remember that. we were celebrating that day for sure.
Between all the beer we had to drink then and all of the food we have to eat. So anybody who thinks it's really cool to judge a beer festival or a barbecue festival, it's not. It's inhuman and inhumane. I'm
surprised they can do it for festivals. If you look at GABF, you know how many judges they have, how many beers they go through? Thousands.
Well, they have to have like different panels for different styles, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess they don't have to go through
different panels, different styles, and their judging criteria is, because you go to something like GABF, there's so many beers. If visually the beer isn't correct, it won't even get past that round. They won't even try.
Right. They got to look. You're looking at it first. If they don't see what they want to see,
if there's the nose is off or the look is off, they won't get to taste because they have too many beers to get through, I believe. I think that's the way it was explained by one of the judges.
Absolutely. Yeah. They could never drink every single beer that gets submitted.
I can't imagine.
There's no.
And it's not really a drink. I mean, they swirl and
even tasting. I mean, they could do it, but it's just it's too long. So, got a comment from Brian Altschul. Chuck Aaron.
Hey,
Brian, being Captain Obvious is not getting your producer job. Sorry, you're gonna have to impress us a little bit more than that. He used to be our producer. We'd have to have him look some stuff up, and he'd always come through. And then he just disappeared, so we fired him for negligence.
Well, he's busy. He's been busy. In his defense, he has been busy. So maybe.
One night a week. One night a week is all we ask.
No, maybe he's on right now. Maybe he can. I don't know.
Well, let's see.
Re-audition
for the whole job.
Produce something quick.
Exactly. Hurry up. Come up with something, Brian.
Anything.
Because he wasn't here earlier. He wasn't here earlier when we were trying to figure out when OSHA was founded.
OSHA was founded, right?
I had to look it up myself.
Exactly.
The talent shouldn't have to do.
And we got Gene Lynch. Hey, Chuck.
Oh, look at Gene. Oh, look at that. Hey, man.
There you go.
Good to see you, Gene. I saw you were drinking a Jersey Girl beer. Thanks for the post.
Exactly. Yeah, he was the other day. Brian says, who am I up against? At the moment, no one. So give it a try.
And if he loses the job, how bad is that? It's just you versus you. You lost to yourself. Sorry.
It's your job to lose.
Exactly.
Again.
Again.
Again. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, man.
This is drinking really tasty, this knuckle. So how often have you done this?
First time.
This is the first time you did it.
Yeah. Really. I'll tell you something. Right out of the gate. Usually I don't go through knuckles that quickly.
Yeah.
Dunkels to me, and I get it's really just to me, they tend to wear my palate a little bit.
Sure.
So I don't drink them that quickly. This is drinking quicker than most Dunkels I drink.
Yeah, I think 4.7. If off the top of my head, I'm thinking 4.7 is the ABV on that one.
Just had it up there.
Oh,
4.7. There you go.
There it goes. 4.7.
Yeah, he took it down just before.
Literally just took it down like 3 seconds ago.
That's the beauty of the two beers that you started with. You started with two great super sessional beers.
Yeah.
And the beauty of them is that, and a lot of people, again, they're you've got a brown, you've got a dark beer, but they're not what people perceive dark beers to be, which are very heavy. They're cumbersome on the palate. They're tough to get down. These are super easy to drink.
Oh, sure.
That's why I laugh every time. Like people go, "Oh, I don't drink Guinness. It's too heavy for me." Like, Guinness has got the body.
How the hell? Yeah, exactly.
Pound of Guinness. I mean, 3 or 4 of those easy.
I always tell the story too. We had Rob Tarves on the show from our town brewing in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Last June we had him on.
All right.
May or June we had him on. But anyway, Jess and I walked in. Last February we were out in Lancaster and stopped in. Our town had only been open about 6 months. Walked in. It was a Sunday early afternoon, and I sit down. I'm looking at the board. Jess sees a sour. She orders that right away. You know her in sours, right? She orders that right away. And I'm looking, and they have a 3.8% English dark mild. I'm like, I'll have that. I had 5 of them sitting there. And the bartender, and we're talking beer and everything else, right? The bartender looked at me, can I get you anything else? I'm like, nope. I'm good.
Just
there you go.
He literally on that.
While I'm drinking those 5, he literally gave me a taste of everything else on the menu just so I could taste it. Because I was set that 3.8% dark mild, that was perfect.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Guinness, my friend Jason and I, when we go out to a bar, especially a bar, you go in an Irish pub, there's not a lot of craft beer. So you order yourself a Guinness. And they're going to pour it, right? Because you're in an Irish pub. So we'd go in, one of us would say, 2 Guinnesses, please. The guy would start to walk away. The other one would go, I'll take 2 as well. And the reason being is the first one goes down, whoop, it's down, it's gone. And you now have your second one. And he didn't quite understand until he saw the way.
He thought you ordered 2 for both of you.
Yeah.
That was it, right? Yeah.
And he finally understood.
I went out last Friday night. Got together with some fraternity brothers of mine, and we went over to Arthur's Steakhouse in Morris Plains.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys know the place, but
I used to live right there.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. Did you? You lived in Morris Plains?
I lived in Morris Plains for about 5 years.
6 years, 5 years, 6 years.
Get out of here! I grew up. Yeah, when I moved to New Jersey, I moved to Morris Plains, went to the Borough School on Speedwell Ave there.
I was just down the hill from the asylum.
Dude, if I look in my 8th grade,
don't let him fool you. He was in.
I'm looking at my 8th grade book, and your picture's going to be right next to mine.
No. I was very much. I can't say I was an adult, but I was definitely over 40 when I moved in.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so we did not go to 8th grade.
No, I went to high school in Jackson. So.
But it's a great town, and so we all were drinking Guinness that night. I must have gone through 3 or 4 Guinnesses that night, and just with a steak, it's a great compliment.
Perfect with a steak, yes.
We had their Delmonico, that big ass freaking honker.
Oh yeah, you got to get the Delmonico. You go to Arthur's, you got to get the Delmonico done. Whether it's Morris Plains or Hoboken or when they were open in Emerson.
Yeah, that one's gone.
Yeah, that didn't last, did it?
No, it was great. It was great. Yeah. I went there a bunch because at the time I lived in Fairlawn, so it was easy. Boom, I got there in like 15 minutes, done.
Yeah. The one at Morris Plains is always packed. There's always a line outside. Even when I was a kid, you'd walk by it just line out the door every night. People waiting to have a steak.
And most of them waiting to get called in were drinking over at Collins, which closed.
Oh, it closed down. Yeah. That's a shame.
It's
that was
shame when anybody closes. It really is.
But that was the town dive bar.
Oh yeah, for sure it was.
What was good there? The nachos were good there, if I remember.
It's hard to mess up nachos, though. Let's admit that.
Oh, I've had some bad nachos.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've had some bad nachos.
I've had some bad. I can't.
When you just get a pile of nachos with cheese over the top and everything underneath that top layer of nachos is just
there's nothing on it.
No. I'll give you
nachos
that.
have to be done in layers. You got to put a little chip, a little cheese, a little chip.
You need a sheet, and you need the layers, not a mound.
Yep.
Layers. It needs to be like a lasagna.
I find you got to put it and you got to broil it. Get that top like really crusty, like
almost. I'll tell you about nachos in a second. I'll throw these up there really quick. Brian just threw up another couple of comments. We're talking about him and producing or whatever. He said
he really wants the job.
Seems like a tough interview process, he said. Yeah.
No,
and then talking about the dark beers, he said, I always say dark isn't the flavor. Absolutely.
Well, we were talking about dark being a mouthfeel, not a flavor. There's Mark 1 in the interview process. Okay, so we will put this down here.
All right.
Take note.
You're keeping the notes. You're keeping the notes.
I'm keeping the notes.
You got it.
Write a few things down here for
with my stolen cloverleaf pen.
Stolen cloverleaf pen. Ryan.
I know, Ryan.
Make note.
Now you know where it went, Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan wants you to steal these things. Anytime they come out with
my favorite. I got one of these. It is the only one in existence.
There we go, Jersey Girl.
I got it as a sample. Somebody,
very nice.
One of the companies mailed it to me.
I do have a Coastal somewhere. I think I got from, I forget who I got it from, but I somewhere I have it. But the one I'm using right now is this right here.
Sheridan. There we go.
Yeah.
Now, anytime that they have me sign the check with a pen that's a different color combination that I don't have, or a color combination that I ran out of ink on, I just take the pen.
Right. You know what's funny? You hold that pen up. You didn't even have to say Cloverleaf.
You could tell.
The color combo alone.
Done.
It just says Cloverleaf all over it.
Well, this one I just said to Kyle, I'm stealing this. You realize that, right? Okay.
I'm going home.
So, we actually did a live feed from the Cloverleaf. It's the third time we've done a live feed from the Cloverleaf.
One was with Chuck. It was
Chuck,
launch party.
It was a good night. Right. That was funny.
We did.
That was your the Coastal Brewworks launch.
Coastal Brewworks launch. That was the first launch party. That was the very first one. Yeah.
That was a great crowd too.
That was a
great turnout.
It was a great crowd, great turnout, It was a great night.
Great beer.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And then we went live. We had the podcast the October before. that we did the beer dinner with Mr. Carton. I won't say his name.
Well, you can say it once.
Okay.
Just don't say it thrice.
Just don't say it thrice, right? Then he shows up on the show.
He who shall not be named. Is that
right?
What?
Well, it's like a Beetlejuice thing. You say his name 3 times, he pops up on the show.
Nice.
Long story.
Long story. Tell you later. But
long story. All right.
And then we did that night. It was the last time we were there. It was in December. It was the keg tree lighting. So
oh, nice. Yeah.
We had a beer on. We were part of the keg tree, so we were there. And then
wonderful.
Dave and I went live from there too. So
yeah, we introduced. We interviewed both Ryan and Kyle.
And Kyle, right?
Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It was good.
Great guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So talk about some of the new beers you got coming up.
New beers. So we are releasing. It's going out tomorrow to distribution. Shark Attack. Shark Attack is our Irish Red.
I saw that. They're Irish Red. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. This guy right
there
here.
There you go.
Shark
nice.
Okay. Why Shark Attack?
Why not? Sharks are cool. I like sharks.
I'm getting the whole red and blood and Shark Attack.
Well, that's what it is. It's the red, the blood, and I love this kind of. I did like a World War II, so I do all my label design.
That's awesome. Yes,
and I found this really cool bomb. It reminded me of the old bombers and stuff. And
it looks like it should be a tattoo.
It could very well be soon, but we'll see how it sells first. We did it last year. If it pays
my rent this year, it's going to be a tattoo.
It might wind up on my body somewhere.
Chuck, you're a man after my own heart as far as the fact that you're doing your own label design.
I love doing label design. I think it's a fun part. Obligatory. That's a nice little plug. I'll do this. You can't even see mine. The lighting here. I don't know why I sat out here tonight. I normally
yeah, and you're driving me crazy because you've got all those chips behind you. I'm like, I want some chips.
I know, right? I just move enough so you can see them.
I want the chips. Yeah, pretzels.
Thank you, New Jersey.
Those ruffles.
Snacks.
There's all the food that I can give you right there. Right
here it is. This is your food selection right here. Enjoy.
I think I see some Lay's in there, which means there's about 3 chips there, and the rest is. Oh, I see Funyuns.
Funyuns are
you got Funyuns. Oh, they pair so well with Dunkelweizen.
Nothing like onion and banana.
Right. Perfect combo. A match made in heaven.
Yeah.
That's how you make a banana split.
Oh.
Chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream, strawberry ice cream, You've got your hot dog onions across the top of it,
Right, exactly.
and olives.
That is just sounding so bad right now.
Little guacamole on the side.
I'm almost tempted to try it just to prove myself right.
Exactly.
Oh my God! Wait a second, banana nachos.
Banana nachos.
I would do. I mean, it's the same thing, but I would do fried plantain nachos.
But fried plantains. But the thing is, if they're green fried plantains, they come off as potatoes, and that'll work.
Yeah.
I
was going to tell you about nachos. I got it.
Okay.
Really quick story.
All right.
We go up to Boston. Jess and I go up to Boston at least 2-3 times a year. But we're up in Beverly, Massachusetts, which is about a half an hour or so north of Boston, right just north of Salem, Massachusetts is Beverly. There's 4 or 5 breweries in Beverly now, really, and making really good beer. There's Gentile Brewery, there's Old Planters, there's I forget the other one, starts with a B, I'll think of it. But then there's Coastal Massachusetts Brewery. They used to be Channel Marker Brewing, but a brewery Isla Morada Brewing in Florida, somewhere in Florida, makes Channel Marker Pale Ale or Channel Marker something is the name of a beer. They actually sent them a cease and desist for their name of their brewery.
What?
Yeah. So they changed it to Coastal Massachusetts Brewing. So I was just up there, and we're going to do a collab. We're going to do Coastal to Coastal with Coastal Massachusetts.
Coast to coast. Going coast to coast on that.
Coast to coast, yeah.
That's cool.
But anyway,
Brewing Company is the other one because
Backbeat. Yeah.
So
Backbeat.
Brian fails again. Let me see. Here's another demerit.
Brian, you could have jumped on it, Brian. I mean, you could have jumped. I threw you a beach ball, Brian. You could have jumped on it.
That's a giant one. You just have to kind of fling it. It's coming at you.
Yeah. Okay. But in any event, so Old Planters Brewing's right next to a taco Mexican kind of place, literally right next door, and you can call them up and they'll actually walk the order over. So you can actually go online and order it and pay for it online, and they'll walk the order over. So we're sitting there at Old Planters, and we ordered. They have nachos, and it's nachos for 2. So we're there, and another couple are there, so it's 4 of us. So we ordered 2 nachos, right? One for us, one for the other couple, right? The nachos that came over could have been nachos for 4, and they said it was nachos for 2, and it was delicious. It was a platter literally about this big, this deep, and
it's probably about 40 cents worth of nachos and ingredients.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. It cost them $1 to make it.
It should be like a mountain of nachos.
Right.
It doesn't
what
matter
they
though.
charge.
I'll still pay for it. And Chuck, up in Morris County in Denville, Chico's, their nachos are really, really
I don't
good.
think I've ever been there, actually.
Oh,
I haven't been. I've heard you talk about it many times, though. I've got to get there.
About 150 tequilas.
No.
Oh, Dave, yeah.
About 150 tequilas, about 100 mezcals, and the food is fantastic.
Sounds like a road trip, guys.
Yeah, it's on Route 53 in Denville. Chico's a really good guy, and he knows his tequila.
Actually, I feel like, I know you guys are my age. When you look at these screens and you see like 3 of these boxes, or you get like 4 or 5, do you feel like Voltron? It's like perform and do something.
Really 5 mini tigers come together to make one jar.
I don't know why I thought of that all of a sudden.
A little bit.
As long as it.
We should form up and go to this tequila place you're talking about.
As long as it's not 9 boxes, because it's 9 boxes, now it's the friggin' Brady Bunch.
You don't want to do that, yeah. Da. You don't want to do that now.
The thing is, I used to go to Chico's all the time when I lived in Morris Plains.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to look down at you now.
And they're still there.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I forgot it's backwards. Yeah, they're still there. They're where Rattlesnake Ranch Cantina used to be, if you remember that place. But
so if I use Thatcher McGee's as a landmark, right?
Okay, so you're in downtown. You got to take 53 South out of there.
Okay.
And apparently Dave froze. Either
towards Morris Plains or
hold on, I got to take a picture of that. Dave,
I haven't frozen yet.
Like that.
You got to see what I froze like, because I'm not frozen. But yeah, if you keep going, if you go south on 53 out of Morris Plains.
Oh, out of Morris Plains. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sorry, not out of Morris Plains, out of Denville, out of downtown Denville.
Yeah, away from Morris Plains.
And you go towards the Denville train station.
Yep. All right, I know where you are.
That shopping plaza where you make the right to go to the train station, that's where they are.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Like there's an Acme in there or something like that.
I've probably driven by it. This week alone, I've probably driven by it 2 or 3 times. For some reason, I've been through Denville like 3 times in the last 7 days. I don't know why.
But when I would go, because I'd go there a lot when I lived in Morris Plains, they would put me into, I wasn't known as the beer samurai there. They put me into the POS as Tequila Dave.
Tequila Dave.
Because I'd talk with Chico about tequila all the time.
From this day on, I will call you Tequila Dave.
You
got to change his name on the screen immediately.
Don't make
just cross it out.
Only I can do that. Don't make me go get some tequila.
No, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that.
No,
Brian commented in one more time. He said, "My life is fine," is what he said.
Is it fine? It just made me feel like he's that dog sitting in the middle of the burning down building. This is fine. I'm on my 3rd beer.
I am as well. We are drinking at the same pace.
Wow. Wait a second. Did you have a hard day that you're drinking at my pace?
Oh, hell yes.
It's rare that John drinks at my pace.
Very nice.
It's rare that many people drink at my pace.
And I'll show. This is what we're drinking next.
The maple porter.
This is the beautiful progression here. The Schwartz beer to the Dunkelweizen to the maple porter. This is not our first rodeo.
Yeah. No. And Dave, would you please tell Mr. Aaron what my favorite adjunct in beer is?
That would be maple. Mm-hmm. So when I got home and I had my box, John did not have it yet. And I went through and I looked at it. I said, if you don't get it, you're going to be very, very upset because the maple porter is in there. John loves maple.
Look at the head on that beer. That's out of the can.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's so lovely. So we actually used two different maples in this one. Maples syrup, because the first one that we used was a little bit, for me, it was a little bit too sweet. We tried another one, and it brought a smoky element.
I was just going to say.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I got a little bit of maple smoke. Maple smoke. Specifically right. Maple smoke. We didn't expect it. We just we thought we were getting something that was a little bit of a variant of just a straight up maple, and we wound up with something that's got almost an element of a Rauch beer, and smokiness.
You said it right, Rauch beer. I said it Rauch beer for the longest time. I was been corrected, but we
were corrected several times 2 weeks ago when we had 3 weeks ago when we had John Hall on the show.
Oh yeah, John on, nice.
We had we did a This Week in Rauch Beer show with him.
Nice.
Excuse me, This Week in Rauch Beer show with him, and so we had nothing but smoked beers, all 3 of us.
Oh,
smoked beers.
So that's a lot. I have a tolerance, but that's a lot.
You know what? It wasn't heavy. We went on the lighter side. We had Brzezinski's and stuff like that. We had a lot of lighter smoked beers, so it was
the
tolerable.
First one we did was for it was our specialty beer for beer barbecue bacon for that beer festival.
Sure,
Allison likes to have something special, so we did a Rauch beer. It was like smoked meat in a beer. It was absolutely delicious.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
We did one more, and the maple porter, for some reason, has that beautiful smoke characteristic.
I got maple syrup with that little bit of. But it's not like bacon. It's not like maple bacon where you get the bacon smoke and the maple. It's maple wood.
Right.
All right. It's maple smoke from the maple wood is what I'm getting.
It's almost like you took maple wood chips and used them to smoke.
That's what it's the care. We were surprised when we
this is something else.
Started to add it in, and we started to see that beer develop. That characteristic came through immediately, and it's like, wow, we weren't expecting it, but it's a very pleasant surprise. I think it adds a lot to the beer.
Can you do me a favor, Chuck?
Yeah, what's up?
Don't fuck with this recipe.
Okay, it's one you don't want to mess with.
No, I'm really, really enjoying this. This is because I've had. And John has had a lot of maple porters and maple beers. This is different.
John, what do you think? You're a fan?
Big fan. I think it's fantastic. It's different. It's not like a maple. And I love maple porters. Don't get me wrong. I drink them every day. But this is not a maple porter that I've had, and it's not a Rauch beer that I've had. It's
somewhere in between.
It's right in between. It's literally right in between the two. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's very well done. Thank you so much.
So we've started doing this. We started doing things a little bit different. We know that in the beer world, we have a lot of flagship beers. And a couple of years ago, well, last year was the first year we did it. We've decided that we're going to do our flagship beers, and every month we're going to do a one-off release that goes into distribution. Mm-hmm. So this is our first beer of the year. This is our January beer, is the Maple Porter. And then we're doing Shark Attack next. Then we're doing an IPA, Lost in Space. It's going to be a galaxy-based.
Warning, Will Robinson.
Is it danger? Danger, Will Robinson.
Exactly.
So is that the name of the beer, Danger, Will Robinson? Please tell me that's the name of the beer.
I looked. I was like, how did nobody pick that name for a galaxy beer, like a galaxy hopped IPA? So I'm like, well, we'll take it.
I always remember that.
Lost in Space. Hashtag Danger Will Robinson.
Danger Will.
I always remember from that show, the lady in the green lady that only Dr. Smith could see that was outside the ship.
Oh, yeah.
She would sing to him. Right. Yeah, anyway.
Half the people watching the show have no idea what we're talking about. So.
I don't even have any idea. I'm so lost.
Somewhere there's someone going, okay, boomer.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy your maple porter. Go ahead.
My God, did he really put maple in that, or did he put something that's making the samurai hallucinate?
Yes.
That is it.
I'm seriously enjoying this.
You guys mind if I step off camera for a minute to grab a beer?
Go for it. Go grab a beer.
Oh, yeah. No,
I'm absolutely empty. I'll be right back.
You got it.
I'm going to grab a maple porter, I think.
Please do.
Yeah. No, this is different. I've never had a maple porter like this.
I have not either. That's what I'm saying. It's literally like if I have to lean it to one side or the other, it's leaning towards a maple porter. Yeah. You know, there's not that much smoke in it to make it more of a route beer, but it's a really, really, really nice hint of smoke in the maple porter. I don't know the maple you used, but it's
two. We actually used two. The first one,
so it's
the first one I thought was too sweet and had too much. I didn't want an overly sweet maple porter, and that's what we had when we first started the process.
Fair enough.
So I chose something a little bit, what I thought would be, different characteristic to maple. Did not believe we'd get this.
This is my first sniff of it. I'm like, am I getting smoke out of this? Because at my age, it could very well be a stroke.
Oh my God.
So when John said,
put a tongue depressor in his mouth.
When you said there was a little smokiness, I'm like, okay, thank God.
You know what? I'll impart some truth. And honestly, I had COVID a year ago, October. So what is it, a year and a half?
Almost a year and 3 months, year and 4 months.
I haven't been able to smell since. I lost my sense of smell.
Oh, I thought that would be cool because you wouldn't have to shower. You mean actually smell?
I don't smell anymore. I'm odor free.
Imagine if that was one of the side effects.
No more.
I got to tell you right now, this show is a home run for openings. Things I can use for openings of the show.
We've got a bunch already.
There
you go. See, there you go.
So I count really heavily on my brew team to tell me if we're going in the right direction because they're really good. My guys,
you can taste, you can't smell. That's what it is.
I can taste. I can taste, but smoke is one of those things that I've learned on the palate. It is overwhelming if it's just your mouthfeel and mouth character. Counting on them to be able to say, yeah, too much, too little, right. They're really helping dial things in, which is nice.
No, this is, God, I love this.
This is really, I can't even tell you, I can't even compare it to something I've had because I've never, if I had a smoked maple route beer before, right? Then I'd be able to compare, something like that. But I've never had that before. This is really unique and it's delicious. I'm really loving it.
Start off as just a basic porter, and we tried to figure out what do we do differently with a porter, right? Because if you look across the scope of porters, everything's been done. I mean, they've all kinds of adjuncts and maples, and I'm really happy with the way we did ours. I think we try to do things different, and we only get one shot at it.
Sure. Now let me ask you: is this the same Is this your base porter recipe? Like you put out the porter, you had the porter last year. Is this the same
pocket full of porter last year?
Right. Yeah. Is it the same? It's the same base.
No.
It's not. It's a different porter.
Nope. We built it from the ground up.
Okay.
We're taking a step back on our recipes. So my brewer Dave and I spend a lot of time together breaking down the essentials of what goes into a beer and what characteristics we're going to bring in for each of the grains and each of the hop additions or the adjuncts that we put in, and really take a step back and say, you know, what are we trying to build? What do we want to do? And that's what porter, the maple porter started at. And we've kind of accepted the fact that if it's not what we want, we've got to figure out how to get it to where we want it to be.
Right.
And this is kind of the end result of that process. And I think something, you know, as we go through Shark Attack, we go Lost in Space, you know, that's our first quarter. Then we go back to some traditionals. We're going to Gold Rush, which is our West Coast IPA. Then we go into Wisdom and Witchcraft, which is our wit beer, which went over extremely well a couple of years ago. So we're bringing that one back.
Remember that Wisdom and Witchcraft. I remember that beer.
Wisdom and Witchcraft was I think it was great for a one-off beer. So we'll bring that one back this year. But we're trying to mix it up. We want to do. There's a lot of fan favorites out there. So the challenge is we already have 6 beers that I can't take off tap here, between the 4 flagships and Elder Magic and Running with the Devil. I mean, I can't get those off tap because people legitimately get upset if I take one of them off. So we start reducing the amount of beers we can do. When we put something on, it's got to be something that's creative and fun for us.
Right. Fair enough.
We hope everybody else enjoys it. I hope everybody likes it. So.
I certainly have and appreciate it.
And I love the fact, if you look at this particular beer, the way the lacing on that glass, it just the head retention on it's beautiful. It'll stay there.
I've got some going.
Yep. We're spending a lot of time. We're breaking down beer. We're spending a lot more time nowadays on water profiles and making sure that the beers we're trying to build have the right steps. I mean, it's a lot of you guys know, John, you know,
sure,
and Dave, it's a process. You every step matters, and you can't ignore it. You can't say, "Oh, just put it in the mash and go through." I mean, is it milled properly? Is the mash temperature right? Is the water pH right? You got to pay attention to the details.
Every single step of the way. There's nothing that you don't have to pay attention. You got to pay attention all the way through. And it's not just you dial it in once or twice or whenever you get it dialed in, right? You're still paying attention every time you're brewing it to make sure.
That's why I can't understand the breweries that are out there that pay no attention to their water. It's the largest component of your beer.
It's the most. You know what? For me, it's the most important component of your beer. Yeah. It really is, because your water profile can change your beer drastically. More, maybe not as much as yeast, obviously, but more than the malt. Maybe differences in the same malts and differences in the same hops can move your beer in one way or another, shift it in the spectrum. Your water profile is all about the
true.
And
don't get me wrong, guys. I'm a student of beer. For 7 years, it's been a great learning process. We've hit some bumps in the road. I fully know that, and I appreciate the fact that people stay with us and let us try and do something different, make mistakes along the way, and try to come back stronger. And I think the beers you're trying now, your first 3, are kind of indicative of the
these are damn good beers.
Very, very, very good. Beers. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, cheers for that.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Thanks. I'm a big boy. I can admit when we do things wrong.
That's all. I mean, everybody has to, you know. Look, nobody there's breweries out there that make mistakes on beer. You just don't know it because they don't release them. That's the problem, you know.
That's right.
But then some don't even realize they're doing it. There's been many brewers I've gone to where I'm getting the same aftertaste in every single one of their beers. That's usually, for me, the first indication that they're not doing anything with their water. Typically, either that or their lines are bad.
6 of 1.
Lines could be yeast.
Usually one of the two.
Overused yeast. I mean, they can wear out a yeast.
Yeah.
They may be trying to get a 6th generation of their yeast out of
we made a mistake. We used a yeast and we tried to get creative and put it into an IPA and then bring it back into the original beer, and so much of that profile from the IPA carried into the next beer.
Yeah, sure.
You just can't say that's the same beer again because it doesn't taste the same. It's got different characteristics. So you can really affect, you screw up your yeast, and every beer after that you might as well throw the pitch out and start over again because it's screwed.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it, depending on how big a batch you're doing. I mean, if you want to screw around with a 2-barrel batch or something, just because you want to play around with it or whatever, that's one thing. But or even smaller, right? But
it's a challenge. I mean, we're 30 barrels. We're 30
right.
barrels.
No, but if you had a 30-barrel pitch,
yeah.
I mean,
you're talking somewhere $500 to $800 for a pitch of yeast.
Sure.
We do 60. We do a 60-barrel pitch, and we've had to do that where we had to throw out a yeast to buy a whole new pitch. We typically try to start small and do maybe a 30-barrel pitch and then grow it to a 60.
And then prop it. Yeah, exactly.
30 to 60.
Sure.
As we ramp up, but
of course,
sometimes you just go, shit, we're screwed. We got to get a new pitch.
I want to throw this really quick up there because we talked about it about 5 minutes ago. We're talking about smoked in beers and sense of smell and everything else.
Sure.
Brian said he has phantosmia. Okay.
Phantosmia,
I'm not sure. Phantosmia.
He's afraid of phantoms.
He's afraid of phantosmia. He says he randomly smells smoke when it's not there.
No, that's an olfactory an issue with the olfactory system that will do that. But as far as the interview goes, that's TMI, personal TMI. The job is supposed to be give us information about the stuff we're talking about, but not about you. So that's
no. Give them both because it was stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah, but he made
it to be about him.
Suddenly it's about him.
It's kind of unbalanced there.
It's talking about your medical conditions. TMI. I mean, no. Okay, well, knock that off.
Anyway. Well, you know what? Brian felt he was included in a show because Chuck was saying about the fact that he wasn't able to smell due to his COVID battle.
Brian is sitting there. So. Brian's sitting there right now going,
I know he is.
He's giving me
at you.
At me. He's
Brian, how many fire alarms have you pulled by accident thinking that the building's burning down? He's walking around randomly pulling fire alarms everywhere he goes. Whoa. Everybody out! I smell smoke.
And now it's time to make fun of Brian's medical condition.
How much smoke he smelled.
God, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, Brian. I'm so sorry.
We don't feel that bad.
Guys. Trust, I'm not with them. They're on their own. They're dragging me down with it.
Brian can take it. If anybody can take it, Brian can take it. That's fine.
He's friends with us. Sometimes he wishes he weren't.
Friendly.
He's used to it.
He knows it. So it's all good. It's all good. All right. What events are coming up at the brewery? Talk about them. I know there's a few.
Do you have any left this year? Are you allowed?
The
year just started.
Have you done your 25 yet? Or
I'm disappointed. I'll start with I'm disappointed. I just think the whole thing is a catastrophe.
Yeah.
It's a train wreck, and I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. I hate to be that guy, but
you know what? Be that because I'm gonna I'll give you my opinion. Let's hold off on your events at Jersey Girl for a second. Let's talk about that.
Let's hold off on your opinion.
I don't need.
We're going to talk about mine.
Go to our Facebook page. Go to Instagram. You'll see the events we're allowed to post. You actually have to come if you want to see the events we're doing. You actually have to come to the brewery now, go to the bathroom, and I have a bulletin board that has our events. So come by the brewery, and you'll see the cool things.
Take a leak.
Take a leak, and you'll see what we're doing. We're trying to have some fun. We're trying to make it fun for consumers. I think, in the grand scheme of things, the people that are affected the most are the people who love craft beer.
Right, exactly. They're affected just as much as we are. But and I'll tell you this, folks, if you go to Jersey Girl and you don't have to go to the bathroom so you can see that list. All right. Have several beers at the bar.
Yeah. So
get to the point where you have to go to the bathroom. Now go to the bathroom and then you can see the list of what they.
We're going to give you a tour first.
We're
going to give you a tour first before you go.
Well, of course. You got to have the tour.
Hey, hi. Right. Here's the brewery.
We're
doing beer. Congratulations.
Within what we're allowed to do, we do. I think we try to do some live music. Once in a while, we try to give some people some entertainment.
Oh, so you don't play the dead?
Just acoustic because we can't plug in. So the guy's strumming away. It's fine. It is what it is.
Well, let me ask you this. I know you said what you just said. Light at the end of the tunnel. You don't see it or whatever. I'll give you my opinion, and then you go from there. First of all, I want to know what you think about what Governor Murphy came out with a couple weeks ago, and all of that. But before we get there, though, I've been of the mindset for probably the last 3 months that eventually, and certainly not tomorrow or next week or even next month, eventually, what happened last July with the new ruling, okay? Eventually, I think it's going to benefit the craft breweries in the state. I don't know how long it'll take, but I think it eventually will benefit the craft breweries in the state because for the simple fact that it opened the eyes of a lot of politicians, a lot of legislators, and certainly a lot of the public for what it was for, what it was about. And they're all saying, especially the politicians and the legislators, like, wait, what? What are we doing here? Why are we doing this?
They're saying, isn't that our job? Isn't it our job to regulate and create? That's what the legislators are saying?
Right, exactly. And I'll speak for Vin Gopal in Monmouth County. I'll speak in Monmouth County specifically. I can't speak for any other counties. Right? Yeah, the bill he put out, he's all about the craft breweries. And let's face it, Monmouth County does have the largest grouping of craft breweries in any one county in the state, but
and the most well known.
Sure, but well, except for Jersey Girl up in Morris County.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely done.
Good plug.
You got it. In any event, but certainly, he's like one of the driving forces behind this, and he's certainly not the only one too. There's a lot all over the state. I won't name names, but there's a lot all over the state, and it's being worked on. And couple that with and granted, he really didn't mention the craft breweries all that much in his State of the State address a couple weeks ago, but it kind of was part and parcel of what he's trying to do, because if that does happen, and who knows if it will, but if that does happen, it will help the craft breweries. So that's where I'm at with that. What do you think as far as what I'm
going to agree with you. Here's the part that hurts the most as a brewery owner and somebody who, when I opened up my brewery, got involved, and I joined the board back in the day and was going to Trenton and stuff, and we had a seat at the table, and we had an open and honest dialogue with the ABC about what breweries are becoming. Right, when you think about, we've only been around for, really, the legislation changed 10 years ago, and the legislation was written in a way that it was open. It was not defined, because those that wrote legislation back in the day said we need to give this industry a chance to grow.
And it grew.
And if you put boundaries and you start creating limitations in the legislation, then the industry is going to be confined. People aren't going to want to open up their business. They're not going to want to. So what's happened over 10 years is we've grown from a dozen beers. I think when I opened up, there were maybe 20 at the time, and that was 2016. We opened our doors.
Sure.
140. Look at
141 right now.
140. Look at spirits. There was one distillery in New Jersey when I opened up. One. And now we're almost 20.
That sounds about right.
So given the opportunity, these industries will thrive. But at the same time, those that owned the industry, so to speak, are upset because they're losing ground. They're losing some share. That's not our fault. That's consumer-driven demand. Right? That's open, free enterprise.
It's your fault for existing.
Yeah, exactly. It's my fault for opening up a brewery? No. It's my fault to give consumers what they want.
Right.
Okay? And so I'm guilty. All right. But I think that what you said, John, is 100% right. Is we sat at the table with the ABC for, God, I guess I've been at it for like 4 or 5 years now of my 7 years open. I've been able to participate in this legislative effort under the guise of it's a cooperative thing. We're going to wind up in a good place. And then 2 weeks before July, this past year, we got hit with all these regulations, and none of the conversations we had were taken into account.
Sure.
Just to clarify something, I just looked it up. 34 distilleries in the state.
34
in 7 years. It's 34 in 7 years.
34.
And it's on par with breweries. I mean, so in the end, I think the ABC decided, and I think rightfully so. And if you think about Graziano, who's the head of the ABC, the director there, it's out of his hands. He has to regulate one way or the other to force legislative change. I get it. And so I want to be mad at the ABC, and I'm still upset that it came without a fair amount of warning, came without a fair amount of compromise. There was no leniency in, we're going to tier this in. We're going to give you a chance to fight it. It was, as of July 1st, you have 2 weeks to comply. That's how fast it came out. And there were guys that didn't even know it happened.
Right.
Nobody, the ABC let you know when you got your license.
Right.
Here's your license. Here's your conditions. Here you go.
Let me throw a couple things out to you, and let me get your opinion on a couple other things that all right. Yeah. First of all, let me state this first. Okay. I'll go on a couple other things afterwards, but let me state this first.
Sure.
I think it's my personal opinion, and I could be wrong. I will preface this by saying I absolutely could be 100% wrong. But I think that there's a driving force behind the Restaurant Association and these regulations.
They may have a big establishment by the airport.
I mean, you think of it this way. The restaurant, and I would do the same thing, and I am doing the same thing. When your business is put at risk, you defend it. That's our job, right? I owe it to my employees. I owe it to my industry to defend it. If I'm a liquor license owner and I've bought this license expecting that someday I can sell it or
your grandfather or great grandfather bought that license.
Right. Well, see, that's my point. See, that's my second thing that I was going to say was this. My second thing is most, not all, a large majority of the newer licensees, license holders, all right, embrace craft beer.
Yes. Right. And
even the ones that have spent $1 million on a liquor license, they embrace craft beer. They buy craft beer. They pour craft beer in their establishments
because they know it's a draw.
Right. Now, because they're going to get other people in, other than just not less people. All right. Anyway, the main ones, and certainly not the only, but the main ones that are fighting this are the ones whose great grandfathers paid $500 for a liquor license back in 1933. So I don't care how much they're worth.
$1 million now.
I don't care. I don't care how much they're worth today. The initial investment in their family was $500, or less. Who knows? I don't even know what they were back then. But
I don't know. I don't think the investment. Everybody keeps talking about investment. I'm not sure that that's the leg of this argument. It's not. I'll argue. Oh, I've got $1 million plus worth of equipment. Oh, you've got a license.
That's my other thing. Hold that thought. My other thing is, how much did their liquor license has value? How much did their stove cost? $1,000, $2,000. My stove cost $500,000. Yeah. And the second it was put on the truck to be delivered to me, it was worth less.
Yeah. I think it's overdue. When we're still living under, prohibition era laws, we're not a progressive state. We're not a state that's keeping up with what consumers want and what consumers demand. And this is a consumer driven change. Sure. Now that it's been established that you can go to breweries and you can't do these things, you're not allowed to do those things anymore. I didn't make the investment because I knew there were regulations like this on the horizon. Right. I didn't. I feel bad for the guys that opened up after me or that just opened up in the last year thinking they had an expectation of how they were going to run their business and how they were going to generate revenue. And I'm not unsympathetic to the guys that own the licenses, but there has to be a place where we can all coexist.
Right.
That's the nature of business.
My one last thing I'm going to leave you with, and I want to ask you your opinion on my analogy is this. Sure. Now it's, food and breweries versus people going to restaurants to eat is not apples to apples. It's apples to pineapples. All right. So my analogy is this. Restaurants getting pissed off that breweries have people eating food in breweries, okay, is the same thing as Staples getting pissed off that CVS sells notebooks.
Yeah, I get where you're going. I see it more of a safety issue. I think of it more of a safety issue.
Well, of course, that's obvious. But
drinking without eating is dangerous.
Right. And it's why and the ABC doesn't spend enough time visiting breweries and understand the clientele. I have customers that bring food in all the time.
How many
to come and eat and drink safely?
How many Enzo's boxes do you throw out a night, Chuck?
Listen,
Enzo's makes some damn good pizza,
and other places around here. I thank God they're around. Thank God I've got an Enzo's down the street. I feel bad for the guys that don't have something like that in their town. Right. I think that all of the breweries, most of us have opened up in a place that has an Enzo's around it, and has that opportunity to bring food in.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that. Just lighten up, Francis. Good God.
There's a Stripes reference. Love it.
There it is. There it is.
Love it. Love it.
Why, and so you asked about the governor's, state of the state and his drive. I think it's fantastic. I'm glad that he makes that kind of statement. I'm concerned that he did it in an election year. And I'm concerned that if we don't get true legislative change by July, it ain't happening.
But that's the key.
I've said that several times in our brewery legislative group, and they know my opinion very strongly, that we need to get this done. And if they don't do it soon, there's a lever that we need to use, and it's the consumer pressure, which is let the people demand it and let the legislators ignore them in an election year. Mm-hmm. This is important to people.
The key you said is legislative change. It needs to be legislated. It wasn't, and rightfully so to begin with, to see where everything would go. But because it was left open, it was left for interpretation for the positive, the negative, and it got
Graziano. To the director's credit, I will say this: the very first meeting we sat down with Graziano, he said, "This needs to be legislative change. You need to find a legislative solution to this problem."
And that's what
the challenge was. You put this up against everything else; it's an irrelevant topic, right? The only time it's relevant is when consumers start sending letters by the hundreds to their assemblymen and senators and the governor and the ABC director saying, "We don't want this." That's the only way it's going to happen. It's legitimately the only way it's going to happen. People make a difference.
Because we've got three major things that are happening in the state that probably take precedence: property taxes, crime, and infrastructure.
Yep. Right? You're absolutely right. And to senators and assemblymen, breweries, while we're important, we're the net, we're small potatoes in the grand scheme of things.
But here's the thing: when it comes,
moves in with $190 million expansion, that's huge for the state.
Right next to Bird's Mouth Brewing, by the way.
Right next. plug
those guys. But the whole thing is, when this ruling came down, craft beer was the number one growth industry in the state. Yep. It's generating revenue. So some of these things, property taxes, infrastructure, that revenue it's generating, it can help with that because you pay your taxes, you all pay your taxes, and this is a growth industry in the state. The number one growth industry in the state over the past 3 years?
Yeah,
four.
Longer than that.
Yeah,
five. 2018, I think it's since.
Yeah. So
Chuck just said 2016 when he opened, there was 20 breweries. There's 141 right now.
Yeah.
So the growth in this
2016, 2017, 2016,
and so I'm hoping also the legislators are looking at kind of even that greed angle, like, hey, we can get some money out of this. There's money coming in. I agree it's not the right thing, but just the tax base that it's creating.
Look at the population in New Jersey. If you get rid of the one,
I try not to.
You get rid of the 1 per 3,000 rule.
Mm-hmm.
The tax revenue that will be generated as a result of that,
by
opening up
Absolutely.
And allowing more, it's a bigger windfall than the breweries.
Mm-hmm.
We're an add-on benefit to a bigger drive. That's why he didn't lead with breweries in his conversation. In his speech, he didn't start with breweries are suffering, I want to give them relief. He started with, we have a problem. There's 1 per 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
He's not after us. He's not and breweries are just it feels like we're the excuse. He wants to get rid of 1 per 3,000.
Yeah, because the liquor licenses that are out there, liquor licensees that are out there, and the money that's been invested, giving them tax rebates, giving them tax breaks for however long it takes or however they structure it.
However they calculate that.
However they calculate it, right? They're going to make so much more tax money from the tax base from what's going to open up than they will giving back to the
and guess what? They're not going to be opening up more of other than the constant rate right now is breweries. They're going to be opening up bars and restaurants, and we're not going to be the competition in the long run. We're the scapegoat right now. Where breweries are the scapegoat, the excuse of why we want to fight this. We're not the enemies, that's for sure. We're really not.
And I'll go back to my first argument with this, my very first one, before anything I ever said before.
John, you look like you're real passionate about this.
I'm very passionate about this.
A little bit.
Okay.
I feel you, brother.
Okay. Breweries, the Restaurant Association as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. And I might not be using a W on that.
I get you.
Anyway.
Not the right time to try to be funny.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That was a joke. I was looking for a joke, but anyway, I was looking for a laugh. Anyway, no, the Restaurant Association as a whole, seriously, the Restaurant Association as a whole, okay, is mad at breweries because they're taking business away because they might have food and they have their own beer.
A-hole, I get it now. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I actually didn't even go there. That's you. I didn't even say that. I wasn't even thinking that.
Tequila Dave's a little slow tonight.
Loading.
Anyway.
Buffering.
No. Seriously. But what about the restaurants? The restaurants that are BYOBs that don't have liquor licenses, that allow people to go to a liquor store that's not a restaurant. Yeah, they have a liquor license, but they're not a restaurant.
Right.
And buy their liquor and bring it themselves into the BYOB and drink it there. Isn't that the same thing?
Well, breweries are BYOF, aren't they?
Right.
I mean, yeah. So anyway, so that's
sorry.
That
Bobby just showed up.
Hi, Bobby.
Bobby.
He just walked out. Sorry.
But
I saw the lights all come up. The whole warehouse just lit up. What the heck's going on back there? And Bobby's here.
So, but to Chuck's point,
you hear what I said though? I mean, it's just whatever. It's
but you got to look. John,
there needs to be.
In the end, the governor has an agenda, and we're the bad guys. Unfortunately,
it's usually re-election.
Be the bad guys.
But like Chuck said, you have to fight this, and this brings us right back to the top of the show when Chuck was drinking a Brew Jersey.
That's right.
Yes.
So if you want to support, you want to help, there's so many ways to do it. Write your legislators. I've said it wrong twice now tonight. Write your legislators, the lawmakers, get it out there. Write Governor Murphy. Tag him on every craft beer post you do. Tag him so he can see the popularity. But also go to any brewery, look up on their board. If they've got a Brew Jersey, order the Brew Jersey because the funds generated from that goes towards the fight.
Yep, we're sending 25% of proceeds to the Brew Jersey campaign. It's an important piece. You have to. This is a very expensive process. We have a great executive director in Eric Orlando, who is fighting a fight that is, it's our future. It really is. If you think about it, what is he doing? He's making sure that the rest of us can take care of our families and keep our employees here and keep the industry alive. That's what he does. And he's done it for 12, 13 years before the legislation had even changed. And back when Gene from Flying Fish had brought him in with the other guys and they started this whole thing, there's an amazing history of how we got to where we are. And the thing that remains constant through it all has been Eric Orlando. And he's just been a great executive director for beer in New Jersey.
Because if things don't change, we're going to lose our breweries. We've already lost one brewery to Pennsylvania.
Well, there's a couple that are just on they're you'll hear about them soon. But
yeah, I know
they're on their way.
I know at least one that's on their way to New York.
There's one that's up for sale. There's another one that's closed. Yep. I mean, you can't tell me that, so we stopped allowing entertainment, breweries are going to close. I just hate that argument. I think just a silly argument to say that it's not that. It's all the things that you've done.
It's everything. It's everything. And on that note, right? I mean, the bottom line, and we'll wrap this up in a second. But the bottom line is, the ABC is supposed to regulate alcohol production, distribution, and consumption in the state of New Jersey. How are they regulating entertainment?
Yeah,
food.
It always comes back. John,
decor. I mean,
we could do a whole series of shows on this and get.
John and I kind of had.
We already have. Really.
Yeah. Everyone I've seen, it comes up. It's hard to avoid it.
It's hard to avoid the topic. Absolutely.
If
we have a guest from New Jersey on the show, it comes up.
But even we've had guests not from New Jersey on the show. The topics come up and they're like, "What the hell is going on there?"
They've brought it up. We didn't even bring it up.
I will say this. So after the governor's state of the state, we did have a chance to sit down with the governor's office, and we met with some very important people in the governor's office to explain our kind of view on what needs to change. And I had the pleasure and benefit of sitting at that table. And I think while the governor says he wants to change regulations, we all know that reforming alcohol in New Jersey is a very long process. There's a lot of interests and a lot of personal. Give the breweries short-term relief, right? We sent them a top 10 list of the things that the breweries have said we need relief on. Give us show, right? Don't tell, show. Give us some short-term relief so that in the long term, we can all survive. And if your true intent is to make breweries and distilleries and spirits and meaderies all survive in New Jersey, then the governor will give us short-term relief. If he doesn't, then I think it speaks volumes. If he's going to wait for legislative only change, there's a way that he can, by executive order, override the ABC regulations and say, these 10 things need to be pulled back so that we can allow legislation to happen in a good way and let them survive through the process. That needs to happen immediately.
I'm really, really hoping they all look at just the tax base alone.
Oh,
because that's what drives any government is.
Look at the jobs.
Income.
Look at the jobs we've all created.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, exactly.
And even John, with you, look at you. Your contract brewing, until your brewery's open. Look at the jobs you're helping, survive while that brewery's getting through it. I mean,
sure. And John's brewery has taken some derelicts off the street. That's a big thing right there.
For sure.
Well,
give him a future.
All joking aside, that last part of what you said will be an excerpt posted on several places out of the show. So, absolutely, definitely,
it's an important part that if the real intent is that we want everybody to survive, then I think a great demonstration of that would be alleviate the negative regulations. I think there's some very positive regulations. The offsite events, being able to take beer out to a location in a municipality, it's a game changer. Mm-hmm. To be able to take our beer on the road and do things with it, those are big events, and that's part of the regulations. You look at the regulations, that's in there. So the reality is they're not all bad. Yeah. It's just the ones that are bad are extremely bad. They're so bad. They hurt so bad. So alleviate that pressure, and I think we'll all smile again.
Agreed. 100%. We'll wrap it up with Brian's last comment that he said.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
He said, "It's funny to me that so many scream fair market value. Then the restaurant lobby is screaming protect our value."
Huh.
I wish when I made an investment in something, it was protected.
Right.
It reminds me of the big bailout of 2008. The big banks too big to fail. Mm-hmm. I guess we're not too big to fail as breweries yet.
No. Okay, so let's see. Actual intelligent comment from. Okay, so we gotta. Okay, there's something there in the plus column. This interview is not quite over yet. Okay,
all right,
not quite.
Well,
listen. We went down that rabbit hole. I'm very like John and you guys. I'm so passionate about this.
Right.
But in the end, if you loop back and you look at the breweries that are opening, you look at some of these places you've gone to, and the beer just keeps getting better
and better. Absolutely.
Yep.
And And we're a great example of that. I think that, and I'm very proud of where we are today. But I think there's a lot of breweries that, you start off and you create a footprint in the snow, and you're like, okay, here's where we are, and you keep stepping forward. And I think that's where craft beer is in New Jersey. We're in such a good place right now. We're going to put New Jersey on the map over the next few years, competing with medals and awards and recognition for what craft beer is going to be. I think we have a very, very bright future. We just need to foster that growth and make it happen.
We need support from our government.
Absolutely. And the breweries and the people.
Of course.
It's a government by the people, of the people.
Yep.
It needs to be, we need to drive it, not sit back and let it happen to us.
Yeah, exactly. And so many let that happen. So many are of that mindset. It has to be driven. Yep. Because it was created. It was created in a way that's how it needs to be, and people are just sitting back and say, "Okay, whatever you tell me, I'll do." That's not it.
So, what was the last beer you guys had in that we didn't get to yet? Was it?
Oh, it's one of your cores.
Is it the Rake?
Please don't say it like that. It's one of his flagships.
It's a flagship.
It's a flagship.
Nobody does flagships.
What's wrong with
Who does flagships anymore?
Yeah.
Only a few of
You
them.
said cores. You didn't say core. You said cores.
Oh, wow. There's only one O and an E in there.
We're not those guys.
Exactly.
I do have to work tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm going to a fourth.
Well, on that note, we actually probably should get to our top 3 list. Actually,
we've been talking.
Oh my God, we haven't even got to the top 3.
So,
because we've been talking about so much that's distasteful.
Well, I mean, but
let's talk about something
3
that's
reasons
a little more
why Brian.
Let's talk about something tasteful. There you go.
Not tasteful. Nothing we do is ever tasteful.
Let's
go with tasty.
Tasty. There you go. And our top 3 list pays homage to 1933, which is the repeal of Prohibition. That's kind of what we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes. So
almost
talk about it. Tonight's top 3 list is, and this is Chuck's baby. He came up with it. So our top 3 list tonight is top 3 favorite candies of all time.
Because it's not always about beer.
Doesn't always have to be about beer. Not at all.
Many that are not about beer, and we're actually running out of topics about beer. So if you guys have any ideas, let us know.
Bring them in. Let us do it. We'll do it. So we'll let Chuck start. What are your top 3 candies of all time?
Top 3 candies. So I will start. I'm a chocolate junkie. I'm a peanut butter junkie. Mm-hmm. Two great tastes
that taste great together.
We did that last week, did we not, John? Because last week was National Peanut Butter Day.
Oh, you guys did Reese's last week?
No. We just.
Oh,
no, I ate a Reese's last week.
I ate a Reese's last week.
Oh, you did?
So I did. It had nothing to do with the top 3 list. I just ate a Reese's on the show.
No, because it's National Peanut Butter Day. I was eating peanut butter and crackers. He had a.
When I was a kid, this is how metabolism changes. When I was a kid, I could buy a bag of Reese's peanut butter cups, and for me, that was a single serving. That I could make that bag disappear in a heartbeat. I love Reese's peanut butter cups, and you can eat them every different way possible. You go around the side, and then you go into the middle. You could do a little bit.
They had a commercial about that too. The way people ate them.
Oh, is it really?
There was a commercial. No, back in the day about all the different ways to eat it.
Wow, I just love Reese's peanut butter cups. I think they're amazing. But that's my first. So my second will be peanut M&Ms.
They're like crack.
M&Ms. And I've got to pay homage to M&M Mars. It's right down the street to me, which is
nice.
A big part of the community. I think the last one, if I go to candy bars, I'm going to go to like a Three Musketeers. Mm-hmm. It's an
Classic.
underrated, underappreciated chocolate marshmallow delight that is just phenomenal. I think it's so good. And
you're right. It's underrated.
It is underrated. I think it is.
The best part is on Halloween when your kids come back with them, you get all of them because the kids don't like them.
The kids hate them. I love them. I think they're awesome.
Single one of them. As you get that's the dad tax right there.
Well, there it is. So, yeah, I think those are my top 3. I'd stick with those. If I went trick or treating and that was the only candies I got, those would be the 3 that I'd love having, for sure.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Samurai.
Well, he said, your palate changes, your metabolism changes as you get older. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start off talking about When I was a kid, the thing that I loved, and I love this, Fun Dip.
Fair enough.
It's like
someone. Are you talking about the stick that you'd lick and dip it into
what was basically the
Fun Dip?
It was called Fun Dip, and it was like someone emptied the contents of a pixie stick into a pouch, and you got that stick. Like he said, it was like this candy. It was like this hard candy stick. You lick it, stick it in there, and it's those. When I was a kid,
like a pouch.
Yeah,
a pouch for the shaft and then a pouch for the powder.
And there was even the triple pouch one that came with 2 sticks.
What?
Because they knew you'd run out.
Oh, I never saw that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, he's absolutely right.
Yep, those Fun Dips. And along the same line, because what was constructed kind of like those sticks, but the best part of it wasn't the candy; it was the container.
I know what you're talking about.
Pez. Pez is so much fun. It's really not about the candy. It's about whatever cartoon character snapping its neck and ripping out that candy out of its neck hole and just popping that in your mouth.
Neck hole.
It was great.
Because there's such a thing as a neck hole.
When you snap the head back like that, you get a neck. There's a whole point about Pez.
Snap the neck back and violently bite at the neck and chew the candy right out of it.
Pez just really started a whole new vampire generation.
Exactly.
And apparently, if you put it in without taking the wrapper off, it unwraps it for you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, get out! Really?
I never knew that.
I never knew that.
But when you pull it open like that, put it in and slam that head back down, the wrapper comes out the bottom. You got to take the sheath off that tells you what flavor it is, but that silver stuff will come right out of the bottom.
I never knew that. That's wild.
I never knew that.
That's what I've heard it. I've never tried it.
I'm gonna have to buy Pez if it still exists. I'm gonna have to buy it.
Oh, it absolutely exists.
I'm gonna have to buy it just to do that.
You can get Baby Yoda Pez.
And I was told video. And I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to replicate it. It's going to go horribly wrong. You know that, right?
It's like Mythbusters.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and if it doesn't work, we're going to make a contraption to make this work. And it's going to involve C4.
That's right.
Oh, jeez. Lovely.
Well, that's what they did.
That's all they did.
If it didn't work, they blew shit.
Blow it up. Doesn't work, just blow it up.
Oh, my God, when they blew up
behind the shield and blow it up.
Right.
When they blew up that cement truck.
Oh, that was awesome.
I couldn't stop giggling.
The whole valley lit up. The whole valley lit up. It was like they had shrapnel everywhere.
It was in California. They had to shut down Route 5 to do it.
My God.
It was awesome. Anyway, enough about explosions. Back to candy. You
had Fun Dip, you had Pez, and
I've got 2 more, John. You know I'm sticking it.
Well, of course.
Chocolate covered cherries. Now I'm not talking the ones that got the white cream in it and the clear, like the Cellos. Those things, and especially the ones that have the alcohol in them.
Are they rum dipped? Yeah, the rum dipped cherries.
Oh, the ones with the rum dipped cherries inside the chocolate. Those are phenomenal. You put that thing in your mouth, and it's heaven, just heaven. But you talked about candy bars. If I'm going to go with a favorite candy bar,
do the candy bar. I want to hear your favorite candy bar.
It's really hard. It's been a toss up for me. As I got older, Snickers became more and more in my wheelhouse.
Sure.
But still to this day, it's always a fight between Twix and Kit Kats for me.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Big toss up for me. But if I had to pick one, I'm probably going Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Twix has the caramel, that thick caramel.
And that's the only reason.
Makes it a little bit harder to get through. Kit Kat, you just snap, and you're good to go.
Eat, you're done.
Yeah. And have you ever seen that meme that shows like a full bar Kit Kat and someone's just taking a bite right out of the whole thing and it says monsters do exist?
Who eats Kit Kats like that? Who?
Monsters.
You crack them into the floor.
Apparently monsters eat them like that. Yeah.
Only monsters.
You got to be.
From what I've heard.
You got to be a monster to eat it like that. That's it.
Exactly. So, all right.
Johnny.
Mine. I'm up.
Okay. Johnny.
This is a possibility. There's a possibility that we may actually have a top 3 where I didn't steal any of John's.
Hold on.
You can't say the candy at ShopRite. The candy.
I'm going to tell you right now. Dave did not steal any of mine.
This may be a first.
Hold on. I'm not done. Chuck stole all 3 of mine.
Also,
are you even the candy bar? Even the candy bar.
Reese's, peanut M&Ms, and Three Musketeers.
Bam,
All
bam,
three of them.
bam. Thank you. Good night.
Mic drop.
So you saw me, feverishly typing over here. I've changed my Reese's, peanut M&Ms, and Three Musketeers to honorable mentions, and I've given you 3 others. Nice. There you go.
Let's hear it.
And of course, they would technically be my 4, 5, and 6, but tonight they're my 1, 2, and 3. Okay, right. In no particular order. Actually, I'll go with 3, 2, and 1 for these. 3s, I'm going to go with peppermint patties.
I've got some
into a York peppermint patty.
I've got some in the room next door.
I get the sensation.
Exactly. I get the sensation. So that's that. Number 2, I will take it. Would be. I was worried, Dave, there for a second for stealing my 5.
This is why you can't go last, John. You can't
exactly.
Go last.
And I always say that, right? Snickers.
Yeah.
It's
nothing satisfies.
Snickers to me is second to pepper. Snickers to me is second to Three Musketeers.
You got to admit that the Pesci commercial, where he's freaking out at the party and he's yelling and yelling and yelling.
You're not yourself.
His friend goes, "Here, you need and he eats a Snickers. It turns out to be 2 guys. Yeah. It's like, you're not yourself. Have a Snickers.
My favorite was
the
Roseanne Barr one. My back hurts. And then she's actually a logger. And then a log comes by, hits her in the front, knocks her down. She's like, now my front hurts. And they give her Snickers.
It was a Snickers solved a log chest.
Yeah, really.
You're not. Yeah, you just got walloped with a friggin' log. But a Snickers, because you're not yourself when you get hit by a log.
No, not at all. But I will tell you, my
frozen Snickers, right?
Of course.
How about deep
frozen Reese's?
Snickers?
Frozen Reese's.
Oh, but deep fried Snickers.
I've never had a deep fried Snicker. No,
I've had deep fried Reese's peanut butter cups.
I have as well. I have deep fried Oreos, deep fried Twinkies.
Sussex Fair. If you go to the Sussex Fair.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They have a whole.
Oh, and you talk about frozen. There was nothing better to freeze than a Charleston Chew.
Charleston Chew is chewy, but not too chewy.
Not too
chewy. You freeze them. You freeze them because they're this long stick, and you just smack them on the table.
And they break.
All these
they snap.
Yeah. But my number 1 that I'll give in this list is a Payday bar.
That's going back.
Wow. Is that like a
all peanuts with peanut butter?
Oh man.
Peanut butter nougat.
Was
all
there
peanuts with peanut butter nougat? No, all peanuts with peanut butter nougat. Yeah. Salt and salt.
It would be like this brown, shiny brown substance.
With peanuts and everything else. And
yeah.
And you want to add, you want chocolate to it. You've got a Baby Ruth.
Mm-hmm. Is that Baby Ruth's more chewy though? Isn't it?
Right? Because there was
there's caramel in the middle, but the Payday bar was all peanuts with peanut butter nougat. That was a Payday bar. So those are mine. So my top 3 would be Reese's peanut M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, and Three Musketeers, but somebody took them. So.
But I'll add this though. Worst. And I think it's going to be unanimous, but I'll throw it out there. Almond Joy.
I hate Almond Joy.
Almond Joy.
I hate Almond Joy.
I'll take a Mounds.
Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't.
Mounds don't.
No, I'll go. Sometimes you feel
they're
like
the worst. Worst.
Either or, Mounds or Almond Joy. I really don't.
Oh no,
I don't like.
Mounds.
I love the flavor of coconut. I hate the texture of coconut.
I love Mounds. I don't want that. Mounds.
You like the Mounds? You do like Mounds?
I do like Mounds.
We got somebody writing in.
Oh,
apparently,
somebody's in the conversation.
Apparently,
not this conversation.
Apparently, one producer, Brian, somebody got jealous, and Matt Patetsky's writing in from Elder Pine Brewing in Maryland. Hi, Chuck.
Oh, that's really nice. Hi, Matt.
And Matt also said he's drinking a barrel-aged barley wine, then a 3.5-hour drive home.
Oof, wow.
I saw his check-in, actually, when I was checking in Chuck's beers on the show. And, Elder Pine Brewing and Blending Company double oaked The Sun's Gone Dim and the Skies Turned Black was a Baltic Porter he started with.
That's the name of the beer, not what he was saying about the beer.
Double oaked, The Sun's Gone Dim and the Skies Turned Black. You drink enough of those, that will happen.
That will definitely. And then 3-hour drive, 3.5-hour drive.
After drinking this Baltic Porter and a barrel-aged barley wine. Okay.
Exactly.
Road soda.
That's a road soda, right? Exactly.
Yeah, road soda, right?
Hell of a road soda right there.
Matt, do us a favor. Please text us when you get home.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot us a text. Exactly.
Yeah, please.
All right. Really quick, Chuck. Events. I asked you before. Events coming up at the brewery.
Oh, we're doing the big brew fest over in Morristown coming up. I had the wrong date, but we're going to be doing that. We're doing the Liberty Science Center shortly.
Oh, I'll be at that one.
Oh, I'll be there.
John will be there too.
I'll be there.
We'll be there. The three of us will get together. We'll have a beer together.
We'll have a beer together. Matt will be there too.
It's been a little while though, hasn't it?
And it has been a bit.
Other than tonight.
It's been a bit. Yeah, it's been a little been a minute.
It's been since the Coastal Brew Works.
Matt said 4-ounce tasters, by the way. That's what he said.
Still Texas when you get home.
It's not volume, it's quantity, Matt. It's volume. It's quantity, not volume.
Yeah. And quality.
Yeah.
And Matt said he'll see you. We will see you in JC. Yeah.
Definitely see you there.
Yeah, that's going to be. I think that's going to be a really
good
fun.
One. It's going to be fun.
Great group over there.
It's a week from Saturday. It's coming up. It's a week from Saturday.
And I'll wear my Coastal
It really
Brew.
is. It's like 2 weeks away. Yeah.
Not even. It's a week and a half away.
And I'll wear my Coastal Brew Works shirt in case John needs someone else to pour. I can even though I'm a paying guest.
Yeah, I did confirm that today that they're going to have somebody at each table as an employee, and then we'll be able to pour, but they have to have an employee there to watch over us. Make sure we follow the guidelines.
Well, they are,
you guys kind of do need babysitters.
Are they going to be like
a little bit?
We've earned the reputation. That's true. It's all good, but it'll be good to see. I think that's going to be a really good one. There's a lot of great breweries.
It's kind of cool, and I've been looking at a lot of the stuff they've done all over the other ones that they've done all over the country or whatever, and they're really cool the way they put them together.
And it's been a while since I've seen. Yeah, Allison gets some really great breweries in, but this is an impressive lineup.
Yeah.
This is a really impressive lineup they've gotten in there.
Matt said he's fine walking around and sampling beer.
There you go. See, always a compromise. Always a happy medium.
Always a happy medium. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's I guess the one that's coming up soonest is going to be that event.
Yep.
I know we're heading out to Tennessee this year. We're going to Craft Brew Conference, so we're going to CBC.
John, you going? I'll be there.
Nice.
I'm trying to finagle my way into it.
John Hall did tell us that there is a Rauch beer event at one of the breweries. He's going to let us know when it is. So, and it's not just that brewery putting out a bunch of Rauch beers. They've invited a bunch of breweries to actually pour at the brewery for
didn't they say there's like at least 20
or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Beers. Be awesome. I did not know that, but I would love to go to that.
I'll get all the info. I'll let you know. We'll get there.
I'm bringing Vito and my head brewer Dave.
Beautiful.
So the three of us are going down. We're actually staying with Dave and Aaron from Buttsville Brewing.
Very nice.
We got an Airbnb with them, and Andrew from Fort Nonsense.
Very nice. We have an Airbnb as well. It's going to be myself, Matt, Jim, our other partner, will be there as well. Nice. And we're for laughs, we're bringing along Jess. So.
Nice. Very nice. Dude, we got
actually Jess is going to make us all feel bad because while we're at the seminars and the trade show floor, she's going to be checking out Nashville, and we're not going to see any of this.
She's going to have the best time ever.
She's going to have the best time. Man.
Best time ever. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that. I was kind of on the fence about it. My guys convinced me that we have some needs for equipment and stuff, and they're going to do classes. I'm going to do the trade show, but I'm glad to hear you guys are going to go because we'll hang out down in Tennessee.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to do some damage.
We'll do a
Jersey's
little
going to Tennessee, so
we'll do some damage.
It'll be a good time at the least.
Exactly. And are you doing your golf outing this year?
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up. So that's May 19th. Mm-hmm. I just booked it with the golf Flanders Valley golf course. Mm-hmm. We had 136 players last year. The max we can have is 140. So we're looking forward to doing that. All the
we'll make up the other four. We'll make up the other four.
Please do. All the proceeds from that go to St. Jude's. I think over the years, it's our fourth year doing it this year. We have a plaque actually for the winners here in the brewery on the wall. We put the names on the wall.
We will not be on that plaque.
That's okay. It's okay to come in last place. There's an award for last place too. And at the very least, you're going to have, we put a beer on every other hole at the golf course. We work with the golf course. They're buying 9 beers and they're putting every other hole is a different beer. All the proceeds go to St. Jude's, and we've raised, I think the donations to St. Jude's over the last 3 events are almost $20,000, if not just over.
Beautiful.
Oh, nice. That's beautiful.
It's our chance to give back, and there's a very there's a very strong story behind it, but you got to go to the golf event to hear the story. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's great to get. We sell that out. Last year it sold out in just under 2 weeks. 136 players.
Well, let me know when you launch it, so we'll get that foursome right away.
There's a if you've played before, or if you're a friend of the Jersey Girl Brewery, you'll find out first, and you get first dibs on tickets. So
yeah,
Dave Campanile still can't fill out his Super Bowl pool.
He's thinking, I'll take a couple boxes.
You got?
I'll take a couple boxes. I'll buy.
I'll send it to you, Chuck.
I already have. I already bought.
He's got 8 boxes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you are on there, right?
Oh yeah, I'm totally in there. It's for a charity.
I bought a few more. Yeah, it's for Special Olympics because he's doing the polar bear plunge. Half of the box money goes towards Special Olympics.
Absolutely, it's a great cause. And as soon as I found out that's what it was for, I mean, I was right. I was into it. But if he still has openings, he has a week, or 2 weeks, or 2 weeks.
He's got at least 2 weeks. I think he's got 2 weeks. I think it's the second weekend.
With a great conversation tonight. If we got into football, we're here for another hour, guys. I'm telling you.
Oh, don't start. Don't start.
No. We won't.
Oh, no. John's like, no.
No. Yeah.
John's got dinner waiting for him downstairs.
Yeah, I got dinner waiting for me.
John, you're a Kansas City fan?
I'm a Kansas City fan this week. Of course, I'm a
Kansas City fan
this week. Somebody asked me last night, which team are you rooting for? I says, I'm rooting for the commercials, is what I'm rooting for.
They haven't been good. I remember the day when it was
not good.
The Super Bowl, the commercials would be part of the game, and it was all intertwined. Commercials.
Last couple years, last 2-3 years, they were horrible.
Yeah.
Before that, and they got progressively worse, but they were like the biggest part of the game. I'm hoping that there's at least a handful of them this year that are like hands down great.
And not to be like nostalgic or anything, but Bud Bowl. Remember Bud Bowl?
Bud Bowl.
That was amazing.
That was good.
That was such a clever way of bringing beer into the Super Bowl. I can't afford the Super Bowl, but thank God, I don't know.
But I hate to say it, but Budweiser always had some of the best commercials. All the ones with the Clydesdales.
Oh,
remember that emotional one from the Clydesdale after 9/11?
Oh my God, that was
crap.
But then even to the funny ones like, that referee's a jackass. No, pretty certain that's a zebra.
You remember the Doritos ones?
Of course.
My God, and those were all like homemade. Guys like us just made commercials and wound up winning. And putting them in the Super Bowl.
Genius for them.
It's fucking great. I love that stuff. So, yeah, I guess for me, it's great that the Eagles are in. If you're an Eagles fan locally, awesome. But for me, I'm a Saints fan, so we got screwed this year.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get a couple of extra picks next year. Or this year in the draft. So
looking forward to it.
Sean Payton's going to Denver, and the Saints are getting a first round pick this year and a second round pick next year, and then the Broncos are getting Sean Payton and a third round pick next year. So.
I think the Saints always put up a good game. It's unfortunate, it's a lot of change all of a sudden. I think everybody's going to go through that. There always comes a point in a team where there's just too much change. And you go.
Patriots fans are feeling it right now.
Yeah, I'm liking the direction of the Giants. I think Dable's the man. I'm hoping that we keep both Kafka and Martindale, but I'm hoping that we at the very least we keep one of them. But
they went way further than anybody expected. Absolutely. If you look back at the beginning of the season, you would never have thought they would have been in competition. And granted, Eagles were the better team that game. You looked at it. I know, John, where you stand on this, but the better team won.
No. I knew. Look, I hoped the Giants could somehow, whatever reason, the Eagles were hurt still, whatever, carry over momentum, wable but I knew the Eagles were a better team,
offensively, defensively.
So I knew that was going to happen, but I still hoped there was a little bit more competition in that game. The thing
I'm afraid of is you're going into a Super Bowl on Kansas City. Mahomes, he's injured. Mm-hmm. He's got a couple of weeks to rest up, but he's not 100%.
And I certainly hope that boneheaded play by Osai didn't injure him any further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if so, by Osai losing, I mean, Osai had a great game. He really did until one bonehead. And that's all anybody's going to remember is that late hit that put them in the field goal range, gave the game to Kansas City.
Sure.
Yep.
That doesn't mean they would. That doesn't mean they would have lost the game.
You see him on the sidelines.
It doesn't.
He was crying, sobbing.
The most heartbreaking thing you've ever seen.
It was
a guy
like a
that
little
just
kid
because
his eyes out.
He knew, but from another perspective, it's very possible by doing what he did, he made the Eagles the Super Bowl champs hands down because one, he put KC into the Super Bowl and may have injured Mahomes even further.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know that he made the Eagles the Super Bowl champs.
No, the Eagles would do that themselves. I don't want to take credit.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes still had a damn good game for having one leg.
But he may have made it a lot easier on them if he's injured.
Here's an upper ankle injury. I mean, that's to get a guy who
a high ankle sprain is hard.
High ankle sprain is a very difficult injury.
It's months.
Yeah.
And look,
he wasn't mobile. You could see he wasn't mobile in the pocket.
And look how often the ball fell short because he couldn't push off the way he wanted.
He did pick it up towards the end of the game. He was making his connections though towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this:
but you know what? But if you noticed, it was only off to one direction. Anytime that I think when he had to throw to his right,
he threw on the strong leg.
Yeah, he threw on the strong leg.
Yeah, and it wasn't making it.
Well, we'll see what happens. But one bonehead on Facebook put up after the game was over, Osai, can you not see?
That was Johnny.
Well,
and Johnny's patting himself on the back as everyone said, wow, that was really funny.
That's so clever. Put that on a T-shirt. Somebody put it on a T-shirt. Sell millions. No, I feel bad for that guy. You gotta. I feel bad when you watch him on the sidelines. My God,
it was his momentum. I think honestly, he was trying to stop himself from falling more than he was trying to push Mahomes out of bounds.
But it wasn't intentional, that's for sure.
I tell you what, but if it wasn't for Osai, I really think Cincinnati would have scored more. Yeah, I mean, Kansas City would have scored more.
Absolutely. Throughout the whole game.
Osai was the one that was constantly in Mahomes' face. He was constantly disrupting the defense. Mm-hmm. I think he had a great game but like I said, the shame is everyone's just going to remember that last play. Yeah.
Well,
hey guys, if I cut out, it's because my battery on the laptop is dead.
Well, we're just wrapping it up now. I just want to let you know that we're actually. Well, obviously, the sports podcast, we do it every Wednesday, but awesome. Super Bowl Sunday morning, around 11, 12 o'clock, somewhere in there. It depends on our one host is in Denver, so he's 2 hours behind us.
Come on, get on with it.
Thanks. Exactly. Right. We're doing our annual Super Bowl morning show. It's about an hour long, and we'll talk about foods. And Pat and Pete and I are going to do a chili battle that we're making that morning, so it'll be fun, and we'll talk about some other stuff too. So that'll be fun. But anyway,
here's another plug for Brian being producer. He makes damn good chili.
He does. He
makes a white chili, and it's really good.
He does.
All right, I got to try that. All right, Brian. The next time you come to the brewery, I want to try that.
We actually had Brian and I made a red chili and I made a green chili and Brian made a white chili, and we had all three at one Super Bowl party once.
Oh wow!
Maybe we did it 2 Super Bowl parties. I think.
The Italian flag. Nice.
So it was it was Italian chili. Mix them all together. There you go. Anyway, all right,
guys. Thanks for a great night. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. This was a great show. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Stick around. Don't sign off just yet unless your battery goes.
If it goes, if I
just like that. Nice try. We would expect the screen to actually go dark.
That would be funny if it just did that. That would be great. Anyway, so stick around. Once again, thanks for coming on the show. We'll wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you, either way, but around it. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Chuck, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for making incredible beer that we were able to drink tonight on the show.
Thanks, guys.
We really appreciate all of that. And we'll see you soon, and we will talk to you folks soon as well. Drink a lot of beer. There they are.
Get some of this stuff in your face.
That's awesome.
There you go. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we'll talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.